baby's not here yet. Mine will be very soon.
The number of women in America's prisons is soaring, up 400% in the past 30 years. The United States has more female inmates than any other country in the world, and prisoner pregnancy rates are higher than ever before.
If you're pregnant and in prison, you pretty much gotta feel like you failed something really badly.
Every year, hundreds of babies are born behind bars.
Hey, Mari, Mommy love you. She miss you.
Most are taken away from their mothers after just 24 hours.
I can't keep my daughter. It's just not fair.
Now, a radical new program is allowing a handful of imprisoned mothers to keep their babies in jail.
Right there, where the fence is up out, is where they go outside and sit with the babies.
But the scheme is not without controversy.
There are those that would criticize it, saying these women are being punished. Why should they have children in prison?
There's people in here that's killed their kids.
They had to go against a lot of people to get to be able to have babies on this premises.
Okay, right behind. One more foot.
This two-part series follows 7 mothers and asks the question, should babies be allowed to live behind bars?
I don't want to do this anymore.
On the outskirts of Indianapolis lies Indiana Women's Prison, a maximum security facility that houses 670 convicts. The women have committed a range of crimes, from drug dealing and prostitution to burglary, assault, and murder. But the Indiana Women's Prison is also a place of hope for a small group of its inmates. In 2007, the prison introduced a groundbreaking program, the Wee Ones Nursery, where a small number of prisoners are allowed to keep their babies behind bars.
If the rates for reincarceration are lower for women that have gone through this program, then we've done something right. If the rates of criminal activity by their children in 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years are low, then we know we've done something right.
But with around 40 pregnant women in the prison at any one time and only 10 places in the baby dorm, competition is tough. Inducement and cesarean dates are withheld from pregnant prisoners to minimize the risk of escape. 23-year-old Rebecca was told late last night that her C-section is scheduled for this morning at a hospital 7 miles from the prison.
As soon as I heard that phone ring, I knew it was for me. I'm so excited. It's about time.
Plan, is your mom gonna come and...
It's not my mom, actually. It's my mother-in-law. It's my fiance's mom. She takes care of my daughter right now. She's a real good person. Her name's Connie Fuller. She's one of the best people in the world. I'm hoping she's my labor coach, but we live 4 hours away. I'm hoping they got a hold of her. It'd be kind of scary having a C-section without her there.
But the prison only makes contact with her mother-in-law just before they're due to take Rebecca to hospital.
Hi, this is Officer Harris from Indiana Women's Prison. Are you her mother-in-law? Pardon? Uh-huh. She's going out for her C-section there, and they said she's supposed to be a coach. And she is getting ready to go out in about like 5 minutes. Yeah, today.
At such short notice, Rebecca's mother-in-law faces a race against time to be at her side for the birth. As Rebecca enters the delivery room, her worst fears are confirmed.
I know my mom's got me.
She's not making it? What happened with that?
We didn't have a ride.
She didn't have a ride to get home? That's too bad.
1:30.
Giving birth without a friend or relative for support is a typical experience for prisoners. The only familiar face is that of the prison guard.
Try to relax, okay?
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Hold still. Oh.
There you go.
Hold still.
All right. Okay.
It's all done. It's all finished.
She said it was room 13. I called up right at the girl. You'll feel some pressure. You'll feel them pushing you. But shouldn't be anything sharp. Just feel like that. Okay?
Wishart Hospital delivers up to 60 prisoners' babies each year.
Look at that baby.
Despite a history of drug abuse, Rebecca's baby appears to be healthy. One of the conditions if she is to keep her place at the Wee Ones nursery.
I'm looking at him like he's like Aiden.
There we go. I like his name.
That's my 7th baby. It's exciting. This is what makes the job worth it.
I can start on the one.
You got it?
He's kind of wiggly, so I look at
Okay.
his hands. Huge hands.
Huge hands and huge feet. Uh-oh. Say hi, Mommy. He's beautiful, isn't he?
Without her mother-in-law at the birth, it falls to the prison guard to give baby Wyatt his first feed.
Let me see. This has been so long. He's latching right on.
Just 48 hours after giving birth, Rebecca returns to prison. For security reasons, her newborn baby will be brought to her cell separately.
Here, it's not like home. You know, Mom's not going to drop by and all that, but they've got a community of themselves, and they help each other, they give each other advice, they give each other support. Some of the ladies I don't think have had a lot of real positive stuff in their lives. And I'm not sure that they believe in themselves at this point. Because, you know, if you're pregnant and in prison, you pretty much gotta feel like you failed something really badly. And this is not changing the facts, but it's making them a whole lot better. And we have to show the ladies we believe in them, and we believe that they can change and make a difference for their babies. And that would make it worth it.
At the Indiana Women's Prison, 23-year-old Rebecca has returned to the baby dorm, a special unit that allows a number of inmates to keep their babies behind bars.
I think you're gonna start a baby booming, huh? Yeah.
Having given birth just 48 hours ago, she's waiting to be reunited with her newborn while he undergoes medical and safety checks.
Thank you. Oh, you guys did do it already. Thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome, babe. Whew, now we just gotta wait for him.
Rebecca secured a place at the Wee Ones nursery because she has less than 18 months to run on her sentence and has never been convicted of a violent crime.
I'm very thankful that I got arrested when I did, because I wouldn't have known I was pregnant. I could have harmed him even more, because I was still getting high at the time. So I was getting him high. Basically, I didn't know I was pregnant. I felt so bad when I found out I was pregnant. I had to make him do 2 more tests to make sure 100% I was pregnant. So I'm thankful I got locked up. I'm glad I'm here because I get to keep him with me. I get to bond with him. because I missed everything for my daughter. Her first Halloween, Christmas, Easter. I'm not gonna do it again. They're too precious. It's a shame I didn't see that then, but I'm glad I see it now. It's not too late. I just hope these clothes fit him. He's big. This is your bed for you.
Unlike women on the outside, mothers on the baby dorm have a network of support all under one roof.
When's the doctor come in again? Well, anytime we need him, we need to call him and he'll come. Because I think he's got a cold in his eye. We might just have a little tear duct stopped up, so check with Miss Green, but it looks like maybe his little tear duct is just clogged up or something.
Okay, let's go talk to Miss Green.
Go talk to Miss Green.
Miss Stewart, control.
Thank you.
Okay.
Come on, Miss Green.
"22-year-old Aisha is also a new mum, but she doesn't have a place at Wee Ones. She was separated from her son within 24 hours of giving birth, and he's now in the care of her mother.
Inside here is just my calendar. I count off my days. I have 36 days left until I go home to my son. And this is where I sleep, and I have a picture of him that I took at the hospital. That stays right here. Is getting kind of old, but every time I turn over, I see him. I miss my son so much. This is the first blanket he was wrapped in after, you know, getting washed up and stuff. I kept it. It just reminds me of him. It gives me, I smell his scent still on it. And I sleep with it every night, close to me. I smell him. And I just come in here and cry on the bed.
The prison encourages mums on the baby dorm to breastfeed. Even though Aisha's been separated from her baby, she has chosen to express her milk and bag it up for her mum to collect.
You defrost one, unthaw one of them? Yep, and put it in the bottle. Just give it to him. And just give it to him. How long does this milk last? And he eats a lot. He's fat. I honestly think probably to maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. That's it. That's what I'm thinking. Well, now he's an eating piece of furniture. Yes, he is. And today is Saturday. She'll start him when she get home. Probably Tuesday. He'll be out. He'll be ready for some more. Yeah.
You don't look too happy today.
I just miss my son. I haven't seen him in the last 2 weeks.
Oh.
So I'm used to seeing him every other weekend, and my mom ain't been able to come.
Like many of the inmates at Indiana Women's Prison, Aisha's serving time as the direct result of a violent relationship.
So I'm gonna pass out the questions that I have here. Questions to ask before we fall in love. Because a lot of times what happens is I would counsel with women and they would say, man, if only I knew this before I fell in love with this person.
Aisha was convicted for stabbing her boyfriend.
I was in an abusive relationship, and every time I called the police on my ex-boyfriend, they told me to press charges on him. Well, I was being dumb and kept taking them back. So the last time that he put his hands on me, I decided to cut him with a knife. And so I stabbed him a couple times, and he called the police on me, and they arrested me. I think that they should have had it be self-defense because they have on record multiple times of him putting his hands on me, and they even have pictures of bruises. But I guess they figured since I stabbed him that I needed to be punished, and where he's still around, walking around every day like he's God or something. Nothing ever happened to me. He never got locked up for nothing or nothing. All he got was stabbed and some stitches, and that's it. I went to jail in March. I got bonded out in April, And in June, I met my baby daddy. So I guess I didn't wait that long to get in another relationship.
I want you to tell me a question that you think that you should ask a guy before you fall in love with him.
Is he a sex offender?
Okay.
What are they trying to do to support their families?
I would ask him if he has kids, because
Good question.
personally, I mean, a couple of my friends have been dating somebody, and then the crazy baby mama rolls up on them.
If you know that somebody's married and they got 5 kids by 5 different women and they don't pay child support and they've been in prison for being a molester, and if you know all the answers to these questions and they're all negative, I don't care how good looking the person is, would you date them?
In the majority of cases, grandmothers take on the responsibility of caring for babies born to offenders who don't have a place on the baby dorm. Families are only allowed to visit once a week for a maximum of 4 hours. Even toddlers and babies are padded down at security to check they're not carrying drugs, weapons, or any other illegal goods.
All right, little lady, you okay?
Today, Aisha's mother is due to bring baby Imari to see her for the first time in 5 weeks.
When I first thought about it, I was freaking out, like, wow, I gotta have my baby while I'm incarcerated. Just scared. My first baby, I had so many scares, but then my mom told me everything was gonna be all right and that she was gonna come get him. She told me how she was gonna bring him to see me and stuff. Did y'all bring the cooler?
Yeah, I got a cooler.
4 bags with 5 ounces of milk in there.
Morning and before you go to bed. And it helps him.
He got his daddy nose. He got a big nose. Mommy kisses though. Yeah, you white. Oh, you look your mommy in the eyes. Oh, son.
Yes.
Mommy love you, Imari. The handsomest baby I've seen in the world. I just think it's real wonderful. I want my son to do everything that I did. I want him to graduate from high school. I want him to go off to college, get some sports maybe, have kids one day. I don't ever want him to put his hand on a female. I want him to do that. I want him to be successful. Oh, this is my baby. I'm gonna miss him. I want to keep him here. I be worried about him forgetting who I am. I love you, baby.
Aisha will be released from prison next month. With levels of reoffending at 30%, will she be able to give her son the stability he needs?
One more kiss, son. Mommy love you. I love y'all. Y'all be safe.
The Wee Ones Nursery is not the only initiative in place at the Indiana Women's Prison to encourage a stronger bond between mothers and their children.
I know, you do it.
The Family Preservation Program has been running for 14 years. For many women, especially those with long sentences, it's the only opportunity to forge a relationship with their children.
Nothing happened, just keep turning it.
The program allows offenders with a record of good behavior an opportunity to spend an extra 6 hours a month with their children. Tammy, one of the nannies on the baby dorm, has got a 2-hour scheduled visit with her disabled daughter, Savannah.
Me too. I'm gonna be home soon. I know.
I'm so proud of you.
Proud of myself too.
You're proud of yourself too.
Class is so quiet, I can concentrate better.
You said you got your report card.
Oh yeah, my report card, I had 40s and a B and an A.
But
I brought my 40s up to a C minus, C, and a B.
That's good. I'm proud of you about that.
Tammy has 3 daughters. Serving time in prison and a history of drug abuse has meant she's missed out on much of their childhood.
Okay, ready? Smile. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, is it good?
Can we play another game?
I don't think we have time. We only have 10 minutes. You want to look at our pictures? Thank you, ladies. Honey, we don't have time to play another game. 2 hours isn't very much time at all. I hate it. You want one of that one?
Yeah.
I always take pictures, and I always take multiple, because those are my memories. The only way I can see my girls growing up, I guess, when I'm not there. I'm always taking pictures. I'm always begging everybody at home, take pictures. Anything that happens, take a picture for me so I can see them, what's going on. Don't cry, okay? Because you're going to make me cry. And I'm going to be really strong and I'm not going to cry.
Don't cry, make her cry though.
I know, I'm not. God. I just want to put you in my pocket. You're about small enough you'll fit.
Tammy doesn't know when she'll see her daughter again. Her cousin, who cares for Savannah, has 4 children of her own and finds it difficult to make the 4-hour round trip.
It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life is always telling my kids bye. Not being there for them when they need me. You know, not being able to be there for her when she was in her surgery and I'm not living up to my responsibility and it's hard. I mean, she's disabled and she's came through so much and I don't want her to have to turn to drugs and I want her to know where it will lead her and she's a great kid. She is. I mean, she's doing really good now in school and she is sad that I can't be there for her right now. And she just hurts. She hurts really bad.
She wants her mom, but she knows she's where she can be right now. Where she's taken care of, right?
Yeah.
Grandma took care of you good, but Grandma couldn't do it all no more. Right?
Yeah.
And she's a handful, aren't you?
Yes.
No, you're not. You're good. Don't cry. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry. You just want Mama home, don't you?
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing. I love seeing him, but my heart just breaks. It's like, I leave. It's hard. Don't cry, okay? Because you're going to make me cry.
Tammy, who is serving 15 years at Indiana Women's Prison, has just had a visit with one of her 3 daughters.
Love you.
She knows what it's like visiting a parent in prison after spending her childhood seeing her mum Lois on death row.
Kids at school would start picking on me and make fun of me and...
Why?
Why? Because my mom, they'd talk about my mom killed my dad, and just start saying stuff like that. And so then I would defend my mom. No, my mom didn't. She did not do that. And I'd always ask her, and she'd say, no. Well, on my 16th birthday, I was sitting in the visiting room, and I asked her, I was like, did you kill my dad? And she told me the truth. I remember so mad at her. And it wasn't so much her because she killed my dad. It was so much I defended her for so long, and took up for her and stuff. And so I didn't really talk to her. I got really mad at her, and I really didn't talk to her much. And when my grandma would come, I wouldn't come with her, my grandma.
Lois killed Tammy's father in self-defense, but wasn't charged with his murder. Then, a year later, Lois arranged for the murder of Tammy's stepfather after he threatened to walk out on the family. She was sentenced to death, later reduced to 60 years in jail. In a bizarre twist, both mother and daughter are now serving their sentences at the same time in the same prison. For Tammy, it's a chance to reconnect with her mother, but their relationship is strained.
Mom. Don't bet on it. I'm just saying, just don't get your heart set. I feel like she just, she lost her kids, but she didn't see why she lost her kids sometimes. And then I would say, I started feeling like she didn't do it for the right reasons. Like, you know, she had Johnny killed, he deserved it. But then the way she would talk, she would say, well, we were going to lose everything, he was leaving. Is that the reason why? It felt like it was selfishness. You didn't do it because he would make you sit there on the couch and watch him beat me because I had wet the bed. I was 3. He beat me with a leather strap. I mean, he molested me, and I know she didn't know that, but what would she have done? And that's just all the things that would go through my head. I was so mad at her for so long. I did not really protect them the way I was supposed to. I mean, Tammy, she was only 4, and he molested her. I know no matter what, Tammy really don't feel this way, but I do. I mean, because she's still very hurt because of what Johnny did to her, and I am too, but I know that I had no right to take his life. I just wish I would have known about what he did to Tammy, and then I had him arrested. And even when I was sentenced to death, that's the only thing I wasn't really scared about dying. I was scared and didn't know what was going to happen to the kids.
Aisha's 12-month sentence is nearly up. She and her friend Jessica, who's being released today, are planning for life on the outside with their families.
I know when I get out, my mom is going to have me a baby shower and a barbecue for my birthday. I'm looking forward to that.
The following weekend, my sister's husband's cooking. They're doing a big old cookout.
You know what? I think it's great that we get to go home this year and be home for Christmas, and then we have kids to shop for. That's going to be great. Take them trick-or-treating. I mean, look how long we've been in here and haven't gotten in no trouble. So, I mean, we can do the same on the outs. Plus, we have kids to think about, so trouble is not going to be on our mind.
Okay, you'll be okay. Don't cry.
Come on, ladies. Good luck to you. Bye. Bye. Bye, baby. Bye-bye.
One of the prison's new arrivals, former prostitute Heather, has been rushed to Wishart Hospital, where she's in labour with her 8th child.
Oh, shit! I don't want to do this anymore.
I remember that so well. I remember that.
Heather claims to have a rare blood disorder, which has prevented doctors from giving her an epidural.
Most women that get epidurals get it at the point at which the labor gets very uncomfortable, so they don't feel the more intense contractions that are in the middle and the later part of labor. Some people aren't as good at dealing with intense pain, and they don't want to experience it.
Oh, God! Son of a bitch! Son of a bitch!
I'm feeling for her. I hear her in there screaming. I know she wants an epidural bad, but...
Oh, God! Ah!
Okay. Don't push it.
Hurry up. Hurry up. We're gonna start pushing soon. Doc!
Just relax. Don't push it.
I can't help it!
Big breath, big breath, big breath.
Got a place for your feet.
Okay, now when you have a contraction, you feel free to push.
Keep pushing.
Okay.
Oh, get her out of me.
She's almost there.
Oh, Heather. You did it, girl. My heart's so bad right now.
Good girl. Oh, she's gorgeous.
Here she is. Give me. Hi, baby. It's okay, Kimmy. Mommy's scared. Her name's Kimmy?
Kimberly, I am so proud of you.
Okay, you can take her one run.
She is big, Heather. I wonder what she weighs.
Heather isn't sure who the father of her newborn is. She's hoping the colour of her baby's skin will give her a clue.
hard work for them too, isn't it?
She's beautiful. She's starting to get her color.
She is.
I think she's mixed. She's got her daddy's nose. She's mixed, you can tell now. She's starting to get some color. She's got her daddy's nose. Look at all that hair. You're so gorgeous.
Due to a previous conviction for violence, Heather was refused a place at Wee One's nursery. In just 24 hours' time, the baby will be taken from her, and she'll return to prison not knowing when she'll see her child again.
She's ready to roll whenever you get her ready. Okay. And then what about the baby? Will you take her before she leaves then? Or?
Yes.
Yeah, she's a big girl. And here a second. She's hungry. I'm still hungry. Is he here yet? I'm gonna miss her. I want to put her back. That's what I want to do. I want to put her back. So I can take her back with me. I just think the rules at the prison are stupid for the baby door. Because I have a juvenile battery. I can't keep my daughter. It's just not fair. Come on here. Here. To stop because I know she's going to be well taken care of and I'm going to get to see her. Just go down this way. What is this for?
I just need you to sign your discharge paper here.
Okay.
Do you want to go ahead and give me her bottle and we'll finish feeding her?
Yeah. Do you?
Okay.
Is your get her blindfolded and go ahead?
Okay.
Newborn Kimberlia will now be placed into foster care. Two weeks after giving birth, Heather is about to be reunited with her baby for the first time. Kimberlia has been brought to the prison by the Amish couple who are caring for her.
I haven't seen my baby in 2 weeks. I'm ecstatic about seeing her. I'm getting ready to cry. Miss Rumble. Oh my God.
She looks like you, I believe.
Oh.
But we want to keep the kiddos and the mothers together as much as we can. That's sweet. That's what we're doing it for, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna get mad at me?
Heather is still unsure who the father of the baby is.
Oh, he's so... No, I think she's TJ's. But I don't know where he's at. Because remember I told you that meth lab blew up on him? And he had to be life flighted to St. Louis to that burn hospital. I don't know what happened after that. I really do think her last name is going to change to Kolowinski once we have some blood work done.
Kolowinski?
The one with the meth lab that blew up. Remember I gave you the names to see if he was in jail or not. Shh, 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 shh. It's okay.
What is the plan?
She had said that it's fine to wait 6 months after she's released
for the baby
to take the baby. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine. Anything to help you out, we will be back.
And you'll hand the baby back, and Heather and I will leave.
It was nice meeting you, Heather.
Yes. Thank you for bringing her.
Oh, you're welcome. We'll take good care of her for you.
And I'll see you guys next month, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll set it up with Joe.
Okay. I really like them. I like them a lot. I'm just looking forward to my visit next month.
Good, good.
I'm not gonna cry. I mean, now that I know that she's well taken care of, I mean, I miss her. And I was so happy to see her today. She's well taken care of. I can see that.
Heather will be released in 9 months' time. Can she put her past behind her and create a future for her and Kimberlia?
The difference is going to be you're not going back to your hometown.
No.
Not getting involved with the people you were involved with before.
The only person that I would probably have to be involved with would be Kimberlia's father. And that's, I have to, for the rest of my life, he'll be part of my life. Yeah, he knew I was pregnant. He came and bonded me out of jail because I was pregnant.
Well, we'll need to talk more about that.
Yes.
About your contact with him.
Yeah, because I need to find out where he's at. Now that I see her, and there's a really good, strong possibility he's either in a hospital in St. Louis or he's in my county jail.
But if he's had a meth lab blow up in his face...
That was December, or that would have been March the 15th.
You have to consider how he's going to affect you and your daughter.
Right. But he never did it around me. He never did it at home. And this time he did it at somebody's house and the whole apartment building blew up.
Well, he may be incarcerated for a while.
Right.
But I'll give you time to consider your options.
Yeah.
It's Mother's Day at Indiana Women's Prison.
Oh, I got a lot of mail today. Shauna!
For inmates with children on the outside, it's an emotional occasion. Before letters and parcels can be delivered to prisoners, they have to be screened by prison staff.
They get jewelry they're not allowed to have. They get that shipped in. Cash, they're not allowed to have cash. So all that stuff like that has to be sent out. I've never gotten a weapon or drugs sent in, but I guess there's always a first.
It's a pretty good job. It's not a bad job. And obviously, he's a football player. They can't see their loved ones, and I can. You know, so it's kind of humbling to see some of the things I see, and you hug your children a little harder when you get to see them every day. You know what I mean? So that's a nice card, too.
Rebecca, who gave birth to baby Wyatt 10 days ago, also has an 18-month-old daughter who lives with her mother-in-law.
It says Happy Mother's Day, Mommy, and then it says Nevaeh, Wyatt, Mommy. Happy thoughts, warm hugs, and lots of love too are in this special Mother's Day wish that's just for you. Love, Nevaeh and Wyatt.
As Aisha approaches the end of her sentence, Mother's Day is a timely reminder of what prison has taken away from her.
My family is important to me. Every day I look at these pictures 4 or 5 times a day and kiss them and just look at my family and remember what I have at home. And this is a reason why I will not come back to prison.
Tammy has received a card from her daughters, but Mother's Day is a time to reflect on her relationship with her own mother.
And this cold-hearted murderer, she's not. I'm not just saying it because she's my mom. Yes, she killed my dad, but everybody don't know the circumstances and the way that her life was. I mean, I feel bad because I did abandon her for so long. And I should have been there, but I didn't know it was like this. I really didn't. You know, the old saying, out of sight, out of mind, sometimes that's the way it was. It really was. I was mean to her because I didn't know how to deal with things. I mean, we went through a lot, and it wasn't good at first. So then I told Mom, I love you, so we have a much better relationship. I look forward to seeing her every day.
Okay, here's a card. It says, to my wonderful mother. It says, Mom, up until the last couple of years, we haven't been close. I am so thankful that we have finally became a real mother and daughter closeness, and I am grateful to you. There's no one I'd rather have as my mother. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day. With love, Tammy.
the baby dorm, there's a Mother's Day party for the mothers, nannies, and babies. While the scheme has yet to be assessed, the Indiana Department of Correction believes the controversial program is already paying off.
We've looked on the outside to see whether having women be able to stay with their children in prison works. We're testing that now, but all of the evidence that we believe is accurate says that there can't be but any good outcome. The best outcome for a mother who can stay with her child, not only for her, but for the child's sake while she's incarcerated. So we think it's win-win for a mother to be able to stay with her child while she's in prison and then get out and still be with her child.
Whether the program will work for the women in this series remains to be seen. Balbina and her daughter are at home after leaving prison the week of Angelina's first birthday. Bobby has been released and is living at her mother's house with her baby daughter Jasmine. Donna eventually secured a place on the baby dorm after the accusation of violence against her was dropped.
I'm very lucky.
Yeah, you're miles ahead there.
Yeah.
Are you okay now?
Heather is out on parole and has been reunited with her daughter, Kimberlia. Following her release, Rebecca is living with her fiancé Thomas, her daughter Nevaeh, and baby son Wyatt. Aisha is also out of prison and caring for her baby Imari full-time. Lois will be released from prison this year after serving nearly 30 years behind bars. Her daughter Tammy will have to wait another 3 years before she's reunited with her children.
You don't really realise how serious and how dangerous maybe the pregnancy could be.
The more babies you have on board...
Where's the baby? The baby's not here yet. Mine will be very soon.
The number of women in America's prisons is soaring, up 400% in the past 30 years. The United States has more female inmates than any other country in the world, and prisoner pregnancy rates are higher than ever before.
If you're pregnant and in prison, you pretty much gotta feel like you failed something really badly.
Every year, hundreds of babies are born behind bars.
Hey, Mari, Mommy love you. She miss you.
Most are taken away from their mothers after just 24 hours.
I can't keep my daughter. It's just not fair.
Now, a radical new program is allowing a handful of imprisoned mothers to keep their babies in jail.
Right there, where the fence is up out, is where they go outside and sit with the babies.
But the scheme is not without controversy.
There are those that would criticize it, saying these women are being punished. Why should they have children in prison?
There's people in here that's killed their kids.
They had to go against a lot of people to get to be able to have babies on this premises.
Okay, right behind. One more foot.
This two-part series follows 7 mothers and asks the question, should babies be allowed to live behind bars?
I don't want to do this anymore.
On the outskirts of Indianapolis lies Indiana Women's Prison, a maximum security facility that houses 670 convicts. The women have committed a range of crimes, from drug dealing and prostitution to burglary, assault, and murder. But the Indiana Women's Prison is also a place of hope for a small group of its inmates. In 2007, the prison introduced a groundbreaking program, the Wee Ones Nursery, where a small number of prisoners are allowed to keep their babies behind bars.
If the rates for reincarceration are lower for women that have gone through this program then we've done something right. If the rates of criminal activity by their children in 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years are low, then we know we've done something right.
But with around 40 pregnant women in the prison at any one time and only 10 places in the baby dorm, competition is tough. Inducement and caesarean dates are withheld from pregnant prisoners to minimize the risk of escape. 23-year-old Rebecca was told late last night that her C-section is scheduled for this morning at a hospital 7 miles from the prison.
As soon as I heard that phone ring, I knew it was for me. I'm so excited. It's about time.
Is your mom gonna come?
It's not my mom, actually. It's my mother-in-law. It's my fiance's mom. She takes care of my daughter right now. She's a real good person. Her name's Connie Fuller. She's one of the best people in the world. I'm hoping she's my labor coach, but we live 4 hours away. I'm hoping they got a hold of her. It'd be kind of scary having a C-section without her there.
But the prison only makes contact with her mother-in-law just before they're due to take Rebecca to hospital.
Hi, this is Officer Harris from Indiana Women's Prison. Are you her mother-in-law? Pardon? Uh-huh. She's going out for her C-section there, and they said she's supposed to be a coach. And she is getting ready to go out in about like 5 minutes. Yeah, today.
At such short notice, Rebecca's mother-in-law faces a race against time to be at her side for the birth. As Rebecca enters the delivery room, her worst fears are confirmed.
She's not making it? What happened with that?
She didn't have a ride.
She didn't have a ride to get
Okay, sure.
That's too bad.
1:30.
Giving birth without a friend or relative for support is a typical experience for prisoners. The only familiar face is that of the prison guard.
Try to relax, okay?
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Hold still. Oh.
There you go.
Hold still.
Okay.
It's all done. It's all finished.
She said it was room 13. They called up right there. So feel some pressure. You feel them pushing it. But shouldn't be anything sharp. Just feel like that. Okay.
Wishart Hospital delivers up to 60 prisoners' babies each year.
Look at that baby.
Despite a history of drug abuse, Rebecca's baby appears to be healthy. One of the conditions if she is to keep her place at the Wee Ones nursery.
Now I'm looking down like this and go, Aiden.
There we go. Hi, baby. I like his name.
That's my 7th baby. Yeah, it's exciting. This is what makes the job worth it.
I can start on over. You got it? He's kind of wiggly, so look at those hands. Huge hands.
Huge hands and huge feet. Uh-oh. Say hi, Mommy. He's beautiful, isn't he?
Without her mother-in-law at the birth, it falls to the prison guard to give baby Wyatt his first feed.
Let me see. This has been so long. He's latching right on.
Just 48 hours after giving birth, Rebecca returns to prison. For security reasons, her newborn baby will be brought to her cell separately.
Here It's not like home. You know, mom's not going to drop by and all that, but they've got a community of themselves, and they help each other, they give each other advice, they give each other support. Some of the ladies I don't think have had a lot of real positive stuff in their lives. And I'm not sure that they believe in themselves at this point. Because, you know, if you're pregnant and in prison, you pretty much gotta feel like you failed something really badly. And this is not changing the facts, but it's making them a whole lot better. And we have to show the ladies we believe in them, and we believe that they